Hello, this is the video tutorial for the checkers game. As I say in all my videos, this is one of 6 of the instructional videos for each of the games, so there might be some repeating that I do here from the other games, but I want to make sure I'm thorough. And I also chose to do it this way instead of a written instructions because then you can actually see it in action and kind of follow along as you go. But of course, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at this email address listed below, purposefulpedagogymail@gmail.com. All right, I want to jump right into it so that we can make the video as short as possible with making sure that I'm thorough and hopefully answer any questions that you might have. So when you get the download from wherever you purchase it, it's probably going to look something like this. Of course, I'm still in the development stage, so it might look a little bit different, but basically you've got all of your games in folders, and then these are the things that are going to be used for these games. So you will need to basically have this set up, and then you can go into your games. So let me explain a little bit about how this is actually how I created it. So I'm using Microsoft Word because it has a function called mail merge on there. And mail merge basically is a way to have Microsoft Word communicate with a spreadsheet and pull information from the spreadsheet into that document. That way, basically, you could put anything into that spreadsheet, pull it in, and it'll automatically place it into the format, into the template that I have set up in Microsoft Word, and you can actually do that over and over and over again. So in other words, you could do this checkers game for each of the units that you have. You could do it for every unit that you have if you wanted to, as long as you've got your Excel spreadsheet up and ready to go. Now, in order for me to use mail merge, I've had to kind of manipulate it a little bit, and because of that, there's actually 2 different main types of lists that you're going to use for these games. For the checkers games, you're going to be using the one that has the horizontal after it, and you'll understand what that means in a moment. But there's 2 major ones. There's a horizontal and a vertical. This master list is just for you if you want to use it to put all of your terms in there and then actually pull from the master list and put it in one of these 2 formats. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and open up this horizontal one because that's the first thing you're going to want to do. And it is set up as a template to tell Microsoft Word what to pull from. So the first thing you're going to see is why it's called horizontal, and it's because the words are stretched out across like this in the rows like that, and it goes all the way to 25. And the one thing you need to know is that this first row you need to not touch, because if you manipulate or delete or change the way that this is written, Microsoft Word will not understand where to pull it from, because it uses these headings as a way to pull the information from below it. So you're actually going to be changing this entire row into the terms that you want to use for that unit. So of course, in medical terminology, typically we learn roots, prefixes, suffixes, so on and so forth. And basically all you need to do is locate your list that you want to use. Now, in order to play these games, they really need to be about 25 terms each. For this game, you want to use all 25. If you don't do 25, if you do a different number, either cut it down to 25 or build it up to 25. And you can do that by either, for this game, for the checkers game, you could actually repeat some of your terms. Let's say you only do 20 at a time. You could actually pick 5 that are maybe more difficult and put them in as 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Or you could even pull from old units if you wanted to. So it's however you want to do it. When I taught, I always taught 25 terms at a time, and so it works out, and it just works well with the games. So you can get this document prepared in a few ways. One of the ways you can do it is literally just typing them in right here on this document. But if you already have a list built up, and that's where that master list comes in. If you want to create a master list of all your units, I already went ahead and preset you 12 different units that you could do with these tabs at the bottom. So let's say we want to do unit 1. You would just type in your term, that definition that you use, and then it's set and ready to go. I've actually done this when I taught. I had it already set up in sort of this little thing. So I'm going to click on lesson 1 or unit 1 or whatever, and I'm going to copy and drag all of these. So if you already have it typed up, here's a quick and easy way to put it in to your horizontal one. You're going to either right click and hit the word copy, or you could just hit Control C. That's a shortcut on a PC. And when you do that, you notice it's going to kind of light up a moving box around it. It just means it's actively ready to copy. Then I'm going to go back to my terms and definitions. I'm going to click on one, drag it over till I get to 25, and instead of just pasting it normally, I'm going to right click it and I'm going to choose this option called transpose, and all that does is flip from a vertical list to a horizontal list, and vice versa. You can go back and forth, because if I were to regularly copy, this is what it would look like, and we don't want that. We want it to look like that. So I'm going to hit copy, done. This document is ready to go. Again, you can type it in, or if you already have a list, or if you made your master list, you can just copy and paste from your master list. So since it's ready to go, I'm going to actually save this as another file, because I want to keep my template like ready to kind of be filled in for any of the other games or any of the other units that I want to do. You don't have to do that. You can just save it as horizontal list. It doesn't matter, but I just kind of want to keep my horizontal list clean. So I'm just going to choose a place to put it. I'm just going to throw it on the desktop for now, but you can pick wherever you want, but you need to remember where you put this. And I'm just going to save it as like Unit 1 or Chapter 1, whatever, checkers, so that I'll know that this is the one that I want to use for the checkers game. Save. Now I'm ready to go. So you're ready to pull up your actual game boards and get those put in there. So let's go back to our downloads. I'm going to go into checkers and I'm going to click on checkers game board. Now I want you to watch what happens when I do that. It's not going to know, well, it's not going to look like this. I'll show you what it looks like in just a second. It's going to kind of freak out on me. It won't do this to you, because the very first time you pull this game up, it's not going to know where you want to pull from. And so it's going to actually pull this up. Actually, I want to mention really quickly, prior to this, some computers might have it in read-only mode, and at the very top, and you'll just need to say, yeah, I want to be able to edit it, and then it'll take you to this. I meant to mention that. Of course, this is my computer, so I own it, so it's not going to know that it's read-only, but I wanted to mention that quickly. And then this will come up. When this comes up, basically it's saying, I want you to find where it is I'm supposed to be pulling from. So you're going to click on Find Data Source. Remember, I threw mine in the desktop. So there it is, Unit 1 checkers. I'm going to click on that, and once I do that, then it will be ready to pull it up. Keep it on Sheet 1. That just means Tab 1, basically. And I'm going to hit OK. And then give it a minute and it'll pull it up. There it is. All right, so there is our game boards. There are going to be 5 game boards that I created. These are all have the terms randomly put in there. Every term is at least used once, and some of the terms are used twice. That is also random. And I did different boards simply so that your students could just rotate boards and they wouldn't get the same ones every time. But they're going to get all the terms every time. It's just that they're in different orders. So now you notice that it still has these like categories put in. You're not actually seeing your words yet. So this is going to be your tab that you kind of live in, and that's the mailings tab, and that's where the actual mail merge thing comes in. When you're ready and you've selected what Excel spreadsheet is going to be pulled into it, which we just did, you're simply just going to go preview results. And when you do that, there they are. Now you can just print these right now. You literally can just go File, Print, and it'll print it out nice and perfect. But if you want to actually save these boards, because here's one cool thing about the checkers game. Once you print them and you've got enough for your entire class, because again, you're probably going to need to print, a couple of copies of board 1 and a couple of copies of board 2, because depending on your class size. But once you have them printed, you can print them on cardstock, or you can laminate them. You can keep them year after year because they don't mark on them, and you can just use them as game boards each time. But once you've got it like you like it, go to Finish and Merge. Again, if you want to save it, go to Edit Individual Documents, Current Record, hit OK. And it's actually going to create a brand new document. And at this point, you can save it. You can file Save As, like Unit or chapter 1, unit 1 checkerboards, and that way you'll have them, they'll be ready to go, and you can print these. And you notice now there's no mail merge, like where it's not going to be messed up anymore. These are actually in there ready to go and printed. That's an option. You don't have to do this. You can just print them straight from your template. Now let's say you want to do this for unit 2, like, like the students enjoy the game, they had fun, and you want to do it for the next unit. All right, so we're going to go back to our original horizontal. Remember, we left this one untouched, so there's our space fillers here for us. And I'm going to go over to that master list again. Let's say that this is my master list. It's not, but let's say it is. I'm going to click on my next one. I'm going to select those 25 again, copy, go back to that horizontal list, drag to 25, transpose, paste it. There it is, ready to go. Now I'm going to save this one. File, save as. I'm just going to throw that on the desktop too. I'm going to call this one Unit 2 Checkers. Done. All right, now I can go back to that original document. Now you notice there's my old words. There's Unit 1 words. When I'm ready to change them out, I simply go to Select Recipient, Use Existing List. All you're doing here is telling Word where you need to pull from. Go to my desktop. There's Unit 2. Click on that. Say OK, and boom, done. Completely switched over. You got your new unit ready to go. Again, you can stay in preview mode and just print these, or you can actually save them as its own document. I could go to Finish and Merge, Individual Documents, Save as, Unit 2 Checkerboard Games, or boards, or whatever you want to do. So there you go. That's how you do it. It's pretty simple. It's all a matter of making sure you're in the correct template, which is that horizontal template, and making sure that that you're selecting the right one for it to pull from, and it's ready to go. Now, as far as the instructions, I did create some instructions and rules. Let me find that really quick. There it is, my checkers rule, because sometimes there are some students who've never played checkers before. So this kind of gives them a basic idea of just how the game of checkers is played, but then it also tells them what they're going to do as far as how the terms are being used. So all it really is that in order for them to move their checker into a blank spot, they have to out loud say the definition to the term they're about to place their checkers in. So they, like if they're moving this one to here, whatever's written on that square, they need to be able to say the name of the definition. And then I also made it to where, let's say they're going to jump an opponent. If they jump an opponent, they not only have to say the name of the square they're about to land in, or the definition, but then in order to take that checker, they have to say the name, or the definition of the term that the checker that they're stealing and taking was on. And that's it. And this is all in here, and it kind of goes into some more detail. And if you have any other questions, and by the way, you can tailor the game to how you want to. You don't have to follow these directions. But basically, it's just a way of them to play checkers, but then also have to force them to learn their terminology. You can print this out for them if you want. For them to see the rules individually. I've also played it to where I have two students playing each other and then a judge, and the judge basically just makes sure, especially if they're just learning the terms, then the judge will basically be like, yes, you're correct, kind of a thing. And so then they rotate playing each other. You can do it that way as well. Now, if you want to have them have their own little master list or checklist, let me show you actually where it's found. If you go back to your download, you'll see this terms and definitions Word document. That is where you can pull in any of your terms from anywhere for this entire thing. So let me show you what it looks like. This is actually what it looks like. You can change the name here. So if it's Unit 2, Unit 3, whatever you want to do, or you don't even have to say the word unit, you can change it to whatever you want it to say. So what you're going to do is, again, we need to tell Word what to pull from. So that's where that master list comes in. So if you want to have a master list, and let's pull that up because I think I have it pulled up. Where is it? No, I don't have it pulled up. So let's pull it up. Master list. I want to show you how it looks. All right, so if you notice on the master list, I have unit 1 through 12 already preset for you. Again, this first row, please don't touch it because that's how Word knows what to pull from. But here is just your space holders here. So let's say that you fill up your master list with all of your different chapters. Then, you've typed in all your words. I'm not going to type them because I'm lazy. I'm going to go over to here and select. Actually, let's go back to lesson 1 and select all of this. I'm just going to Control-C copy. Go back to my master list and oops, nope, didn't mean to do that. And paste them. This time, by the way, you can just paste normally. Oh, it's because I clicked off of it. Hang on one second. Control-C. Go back. And then Control-V will just go right in. Or you can just do a regular paste. If I went here and just hit paste right there, it would have done the same thing. So, all right. So here's my terms. Let's go ahead and fill in Unit 2. I'm going to go back here. Again, I just already have a list done. You would be typing these in unless you already have a list ready to go. So I'm going to select those and hit Control-V. All right, so I've got my Unit 1, Unit 2 ready to go, just so we can have it. And I'm going to save it. All right, so it's all nice and saved. So if you want to ever use this little terms and definitions, just like cheat sheet so that they can look at it in between rounds or just for you and your own purposes, what you're going to do is go to mailings and then select recipients, just like we did before. Use an existing list, or if it's the first time you open it, remember it's going to force you to find that data source. I'm going to go and find it. Oops, wrong place. Here. There it is, master list. Now, here's what's really cool. When I get to this part, notice these are all my tabs. Now they're in weird order because it's putting them in alphabetical order, and so it's going to put 10 and 11 and 12 after 1, but you can still find everything pretty easy. But let's say I want to do Unit 2. I'm just going to click on Unit 2, hit OK, and there they are. And again, you can go back and forth between. By the way, when you do it, it probably won't be previewed. It'll probably look like this. But then again, hit your preview. There they are, ready to go. You can print them, and you can use this for anything. And again, I would want to change the name because if, let's say, it's my second unit, I could just change it to Unit 2 like that. And that's pretty much it. I did want to mention, someone had asked if you don't have checkers pieces, like what to use. This is actually what I use for my bingo games and my checkers games, is these little, they're called vase fillers. Now, if you want, they literally can just make their own checkers pieces. They could just take construction paper and cut out circles, fold it a bunch of times and cut out some circles. Basically, all they need are 2 distinctively different colors. So I know at Target and at Walmart, they've got these little vase fillers. They've even got black and white ones at Target, and they usually look like this, where they have a flat base to them, and they're kind of just a nice little round piece that fits really well on board games and stuff, and that's what I use. But again, you could just have them cut out pieces from cardstock if you wanted to, and they're not as easy to move, but they work, and it's just a cheap and easy way. But these are actually pretty inexpensive. I think I got them at Walmart. You can get like 100 pieces for $8 or $9, something like that, and I just keep them and use them year after year for games like bingo and checkers and that kind of thing. So I believe that's it. I tried to make sure and cover everything. But again, if you have questions, problems, please feel free to reach out. And I hope you have a fantastic year. Thanks.